Hello, today we are going to make Magi chili sauce. This is a recipe that I concocted after having delicious Magi chili sauce from the Majestic Bar in Greenville, Pennsylvania. I don't know how close this is, but I love it and my kids love it. So I thought I would give it a whirl and show you how to make this. So before I start cooking any recipe, I always get all the ingredients that I'm going to need for the entirety of the recipe. I measure out what is needed and have it completely ready so that when I go to put things together, it's much quicker. There's a French term for that. It's called a mise en place, and it transliterated means put in place. I think it's just a good idea, and I usually do it. So we're going to go ahead and get our mise en place ready. I'm going to assemble everything into this lovely pan sauce pot. The recipe will cook first, stovetop, for about 10 minutes, and then it will transfer over to the crock pot where we'll cook it for 4 hours. I typically make this and then I take portions that would be what Matt and I would eat, and I freeze them so that I can just pull out portions from the freezer and have it if we're having a picnic or whatnot. Last week, Noah and Julia came to visit and stay with us, and we had a picnic, and Elizabeth and Walker came to Ridgeway, and we had some Magi chili sauce, Mum's Magi chili sauce, and it was awesome. We had a great time. I used it on really awesome hot dogs from Highland, Rockin' Highland, I think is the exact name of the butcher that we get hot dogs from. There really is no shortage of awesome butchers and artisans in Wisconsin. We've really enjoyed being here. Okay, so I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of onion powder and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. This is actually pretty cool garlic powder. Matt and I recently went on a trip to Maine. We drove from Wisconsin to Pennsylvania, and then we drove up through New York and Vermont and New Hampshire, Maine, Massachusetts. But we were on this back road that I think it was 4 hours. We could get Matt to confirm that. But it was a 4-hour stint from one town to the next with no bathrooms. Well, I mean, the time of the year that we went, everything was closed. But anyway, so this was like an oasis. We found this place, this little, I don't know, convenience store type place in Danville, Vermont, Marty's first stop. And I had to get something from there to commemorate being able to see civilization. Okay, so I think one of the surprising ingredients in this is cinnamon. I think it lends a more depth of flavor. You just saw me dump cinnamon in there by accident. So one thing that you should know about me, I'm more of a free spirit when it comes to cooking. Not when it comes to most other things, but cooking, I guess, is the one arena where I allow myself to have creativity and to not be so, I don't know, high strung and stringent about things. I love cooking. I love putting flavors together and trying new things. Okay, so now that was smoked paprika. We did a teaspoon of smoked paprika, onion powder, garlic powder, cinnamon. Oh, let's do a teaspoon of ginger just so we can keep everything together. Well, I got the wrong ginger, so we'll get that in a minute. Ground is what I think is a good idea for this recipe. So now we're doing quarter teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Mainly I use Penzeys spices and have for many years. Actually started, I had no idea, but it started in Milwaukee. It started across from the product development center for Harley Davidson, which is pretty cool. And I have not yet been to the flagship store, but I hope to at some point. So I did not have Penzeys ginger. I got Sparkle Market ginger from Greenville, Pennsylvania. They recently closed the Sparkle Market. I'm pretty sad about it, but still have their ginger, so that's good. And then we have chili powder. This is Penzeys. It's Chili 9000, one of my favorites. Maybe for a cool video, it would be fun to go to the flagship store of Penzeys. Okay, salt. I just do a quarter teaspoon. There's a lot of salt in the ketchup, and I try to do things with low salt. So there we go. I do not do low pepper. I love pepper. So this calls for a half a teaspoon. I will be quite generous with that. Always do fresh ground pepper. Still using the same pepper grinder that my dad got me in the 90s. Trusty. Okay. Then we do 2 teaspoons of sugar. If Matt were out here, he'd say, "Oh, sugar." He says it every time. It does not get old. It is adorable. I love that one of the things that Matt and I do that we enjoy is cook together. Okay. Classic, awesome Worcestershire sauce. And I do a tablespoon of that. I think it gives it fantastic flavor. There we go. And 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. Very good. I say I had all of my ingredients assembled, but I forgot I did not have the red wine vinegar out. Okay, so got ketchup, tomato paste, water. We'll have to get Worcestershire sauce, salt, pepper, cayenne, chili powder, smoked paprika, onion powder, garlic powder, cinnamon, ginger, red wine vinegar, sugar. Good. we're ready. Get a little bit of water here. I always keep water on the counter to encourage lots of water consumption. That was perfect. All set. Okay, so we're gonna move this to the stove top and we'll use a whisk for it once we get to the stove top. Okay, we got all of our spices returned to the cupboard and everything else put away, and the measuring cup all clean. I definitely am in support of cleaning as you go. I think when you clean as you cook, you're more likely to cook because you're not going to end up with a big mess at the end. You can just enjoy what you're doing, what you're making. So this will have to come to a boil, and then I typically simmer it for pretty close to 10 minutes. It helps get all of the spices to release their flavor, melds everything together, just makes it delicious. So you can see my Dreamy 280 beef on the counter now as well. Typically, when I cook meats, I leave them on the counter before I cook them 20 to 30 minutes for them to come to as close to room temperature as possible. So we've been having the beef on the counter, and that's good. Tell you, my sweet husband Matt is the best at stirring sauces. I tend to get impatient, but he never gets impatient. Thank goodness, because he's married to me. We will do a sauce video where we have several different sauces that I think are good staples for the kitchen, and one of them will be Alfredo, which is a family favorite for us, but we will probably enlist Matthew to do the stirring for that because he does such a good job. Okay, we'll stir and let this come to a little bit of a boil. We're starting to come to a boil. It is smelling awesome. Speaking of awesome, you can see I got out the Steelers crock pot. That was a gift when we moved to Wisconsin from the amazing Mariella, my dear friend. I use it way more than I ever thought I would. So it's just nice to have. So after we get this cooked for 10 minutes, we will do the ground beef. Transfer both of these things to the crock pot, and then let the magic happen. When I have about 5 minutes left on this sauce, I always set timers because I tend to get very distracted. So when I have 5 minutes left on this, I will start my skillet. When I cook meat, I let the skillet heat up for 5 minutes before I put the meat in. One of my favorite chefs, Michael Simon, always says, get the pan hot, get the fat hot, then put your meat in. For ground beef, we won't need to put any butter or olive oil or anything else. The fat from the beef will be sufficient. It's not sticking to the pan. I cook most things with either my Lodge cast iron skillet or Seth got me an all-clad skillet of the same size, and different pans cook food differently, in my opinion. So I've learned what pans to use for different meals. It's coming along, and it's even changing color. You can see as the food cooks and things meld. You can smell the difference, you can see the difference. Definitely, we will be taste testing this soon to make sure that we can taste it. That is one thing that I highly suggest. Just like I said, cook as you, or clean as you go, taste as you go. You need to be able to taste so that you know whether you need to make little adjustments or not. Speaking of that, I think we'll get a spoon. See that bubbling? Oh man, that is so good. Lisbeth was the first among us to have Magi chili sauce from the Majestic in Greenville. She used to take gymnastics lessons a couple of doors down from the Majestic. She was fabulous gymnast. But if they had Saturday practices, oftentimes they would get food from the Majestic. And she really loved their chili sauce and their hot dogs. So I think this takes her back every time she has it. So you can see the sauce is starting to thicken. That's definitely what you want. There, that means good things are happening. I'm sure Matt could tell you the science behind all of that. I thought everybody would want to see my best little cooking helper. Huh. Are you my cooking helper? Usually when there's cheese involved. This is Bo, and he is the best boy. Aren't you, Bo? Are you a good boy? Are you Mama's good boy? Yes, you are. You are. You wish I had cheese in this dish. You would settle for the ground beef, though, wouldn't you? We did start our pan heating up, so that will be ready shortly. And we have about a minute left cooking this. You can see how nice and thick it's getting. Smelling delicious. One thing that I haven't made for a long time is homemade ketchup. We grow our own tomatoes, so we do enjoy making tomato sauce and pizza sauce, marinara sauce, but I haven't done ketchup in a long time. I might have to do that this year. Of course, whatever I make can't be as good as Heinz, but still fun to have. Okay, our sauce is pretty much done. Going to get the beef in. We'll remove that. Turn the heat off. Okay. So when I cook beef, I do 5 minutes without turning it or touching it or doing anything to it. The beef will be fabulously brown at the end of 5 minutes. So get the beef in and then set the timer. We'll let it sit for, I cover it as well, but I cover it for 5 minutes and don't touch it. So, okay, our timer just went off, our 5-minute timer, that it's time to flip this. Nice brown coloring. Oh, you know what? I think that was flipped a little early. The one looks okay. The other one could use some more brown. So we'll set the timer again. Maybe the pan wasn't quite hot enough. So we'll set the timer for 6 minutes and let it get a lot of coloring. Okay, our timer is going off. It's time to flip this beef and see what we get. A little better coloring. Okay. Now we'll start to break it up so that we can get it cooked completely, and then we will of course drain it before we put it into our crock pot. I usually break it up and then we'll let it cook for another 5 minutes probably. Sometimes I'll come in and move stuff around a little bit. This is still slightly frozen in the middle. Doesn't really matter. So one of the reasons I like cooking as opposed to baking is you really don't have to be as fussy or precise. You just kind of go with it. Typically when you cook beef, it's pretty forgiving. Not a whole lot you can do to mess it up. Most things you can really fix whatever you do if you, well, almost everything. If you put too much spice in something, you really can't go back. But most everything else, it's all good. It can all work out quite nicely, no matter what. Kind of like life. Things don't work the way you want them to. You just make mid-course corrections and move along and move on. Okay, I think that's going to be quite good. The Magi sauce is going on a hot dog, so I tend to try to break it up as much as I can, because when you're having the chili sauce, you really don't want big clumps of beef. Even for somebody who loves beef, ground beef, steak, roast. I always say that I'm quite carnivorous, which is where Seth and Noah got it. I got it from my dad. But even for somebody who is carnivorous like me, I really think that the Magi sauce tastes better when the beef is small. So we'll just let that cook for a little while. Okay, the beef is looking pretty good. I wish it had gotten a little bit more charred because I like the flavor whenever it's a little more crispy, but it's okay. I think it's going to be delicious. I cooked it on medium. I cook most of my meats on medium. So things are looking pretty good. I think we'll work on draining this and getting it moved over to the Steelers crock pot. When I strain this, I typically put the beef into a mesh strainer with paper towel underneath so that the paper towel catches any of the beef. My little helper is here. I don't know if you could see him or not. I'll find out when I edit this. But Bo is a good helper. He's a Gordon setter who's 2 years old. He's got a lot of puppy in him, but I love it. Okay, it's looking really quite good. I do turn the heat off as I'm getting the beef out of the skillet and into the strainer. It's a lot harder to catch this paper towel on fire with an electric stove. One of the only benefits to an electric stove. Sorry if you're in the electric stove camp. I am not. I miss my gas stove in Pennsylvania so much. But I'm getting used to this electric stove. We actually just had to replace our stove. Okay, ready to go to the Steelers crock pot. Okay, I got the ground beef in the Steelers crock pot. Putting the Magi sauce in. Mum's Magi sauce. I'll get the spatula and scrape that out. Okay, we got the Magi sauce in. Got the ground beef. Just stir it. Turn it on to low for 4 hours. That's it. This is such an easy recipe. Pays off though. It's gonna be awesome. Okay, we'll put the lid on this. Let it cook for 4 hours. Come back, try it. We're gonna love it. Matt and I just got back from a super cute farm store in the next town over. We came home and
the kitchen smelled delicious.
It really did. I'm pretty excited about it. So let's see how it looks in the Steelers crock pot. There's the strawberries we got. Got I wish Elizabeth were here. She loves these little snap peas. But since she's not here, I gotta eat them all myself because Matt is not a big snap peas fan. So there we go. Oh, looks so good. I'll have to put some in a bowl and let it cool. And then I'll let you know how it tastes. Just had to show you when I stirred it. All these lovely dark pieces. Oh, that's delicious. Color is flavor, Seth says. Oh man, it's going to be so good. Okay, let's see how it tastes. That was seriously so good. Doing it in the slow cooker just melds all the flavors together. It's just awesome. Wow.